We're sitting with Davidji in the sweet spot of the universe today, talking about his book, Secrets of Meditation and Other Tools for an Awakened Life. Thanks for being here.
It's great to be here with you, Frank.
In the sweet spot.
Sweet spot of the universe.
Why is it called that, by the way?
Well, I made up that term, I don't know, like 10 years ago, because we're right on the ocean, and maybe a mile or two away is the mountains, and on the other side of the mountains is the desert. And so that warmth comes in, and that cool ocean prana comes in, and it meets right here.
Sweet spot. Well, it feels pretty sweet, and we have Peaches joining us.
Yes, Peaches, the Buddha princess, who teaches in every moment, resist nothing and you'll receive unconditional love.
She's pretty calm, I have to say.
She's a big meditator.
So I want to start with meditation only because we have your book all about meditation, The Secrets of Meditation. And as I was coming up with these questions, I thought about, I once told my best friend, Kat, I don't have time to meditate this week. And she quoted this Zen proverb: you should sit in meditation for 20 minutes a day unless you're too busy. Then you should sit for an hour. And I love that. So how many times a day do you meditate?
I meditate twice a day, usually first thing in the morning. I developed this technique, RPM, rise, P, meditate. And so I do that before I do anything else. I used to just rise and meditate, but then I found myself sitting there going, I have to pee.
Right.
So then I changed it to RPM. And then in the afternoon, usually sometime between 4 and 6, they're very, very different experiences. The one to start your day sort of sets the trajectory with stillness and silence. And the one at the end of the day just allows you to release and let go of everything you've absorbed. So I think those are the two bookends of my day. And then sometimes in between I'll do a chakra meditation or a chanting meditation, or listen to music or dance or something along those lines. But those are the posts, and I suggest everyone do that. At least start with the morning one, so that everything that flows has a little bit of stillness in it throughout the rest of the day.
And then the night one is important too. A lot of people don't realize how crucial it is to kind of release all that energy that's stuck to you throughout the day.
Oh yeah.
I have a meditation that I do, where it's just like a kind of clearing prayer that I say. What's yours? What do you do at night?
I usually start my day with heart opening. Okay. Do a metta meditation, bringing in the love of the universe and letting it flow. And then I use different mantras depending on what's going on in my life. And I'm pretty consistent with that, 30 minutes every single morning. The one in the afternoon really depends, and a lot of times it's just being mindful as I reflect on but don't hold on to everything that's happened. Sort of like witness, like a recapitulation. What happened to me? What did I absorb? What weird conversations? What made me feel great? What made me feel a little creepy? What nourished me? What didn't? And that just allows me to, I let it in, I let it out, just pure breathing, breath awareness, mindfulness. And when I wake up the next morning, I'm a little lighter because I've released some of that.
Right. And for me, one of the most confusing things about Buddhism is Dharma. And I know you've talked about it before. Can you, in the simplest way possible, tell me what Dharma is?
Sure. According to Vedanta and according to many Buddhist philosophies, each of us has a purpose, why we're here. It can be a noble purpose. Some of us are here to perform certain actions. There are many books written about it. The Bhagavad Gita is really a story about Dharma. There's so many different understandings. And there's a million different interpretations. Is this your duty? Is this your passion? I like to say that...
So is that what Dharma is?
Dharma is how you can help, heal, or serve others using your unique gifts and talents.
Okay.
So each of us has different unique gifts and talents, and what are we going to do with that? And when you can activate it or actualize it, and I believe Dharma changes. You look at someone like Magic Johnson. Yeah. His Dharma was being a basketball superstar. Then it was really helping South Central recover. Now he's a co-owner of the LA Dodgers, and he has influence over all those kids who sit in seats. So Dharma changes as we evolve through our lives.
And you talk a lot about emotional triggers and the soda technique to work through those emotional triggers.
Yeah.
What's soda?
Well, it's the same principle as meditation, essentially. When our computers jam up, we power them down. We reboot. We never do that with ourselves. We wake up, burn through the day, pass out, wake up, burn through the day, pass out, do that for 50, 70, 100 years, and then die.
Yeah.
We never introduce that stillness. And so we're in a lot of conditioned modes, even emotional fight-flight. Someone pushes your button, someone says something, and it's like, no, we start to get defensive, or we shut down and go, talk to the hand. And so I developed this technique that allows you, once you can understand your emotional tell, So essentially, each of us has an emotional tell. When I start to get a little irritated, it's a little fire that starts here, and I feel it moving up. And I know if it keeps moving up and crosses my jawline, I will scorch the village. What's your emotional tell? What's the tip-off that you're going to be, you can clench your jaws, you can feel a tightness, your throat can close, your temples can throb.
When you say tell, is it the physical manifestation of it,
yes,
or
yes.
what is it that bothers
you?
you?
No, the physical manifestation that tips you off, that something's about to really push your button.
I think it's my shifting a lot, so I'll start going like this and like kind of like,
Okay, so
like
as soon as you notice that, when I notice the heat, when you notice you start to shift, that's when you should reach for soda. S, stop. And I don't drink soda, so
me neither.
So S is for stop. Just stop. Then O, observe. Just lift off until you and the other person, you're just looking down at two children of God. Sometimes you may have to go up to the top of the room, or the top of the building, or the Sears Tower, or the moon.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, you can actually get up there where you're objective and you're not carrying such emotional charge. The D is for detach. So you need to energetically as well as physically detach. So if you and I were having a conversation and you pushed my button, I would physically just rock back a little bit and I would breathe in. That's the energy shift. So if you're typing at your computer and you suddenly get an email from someone, roll it back. If you're on the phone with someone, if you're texting, and if you're in a conversation. So this way there's a little bit of a detachment energetically when we breathe, and physically, a little more space in there.
Yeah.
And then A, S-O-D-A, awaken to your most divine self, to your best version, and then say, what would the best version of Frank do in this moment? And, the best version of you doesn't lose his cool, isn't rude, doesn't hurt people's feelings, is amazing, is magnificent.
Speaking of that, actually, I'll talk about like forgiveness and how important that is. I know, for me, like I studied Course in Miracles, and that really helped me a lot. With like forgiveness and learning how to forgive the past and let it go and realize that that person, if they hurt you, is in the past and the past doesn't exist. But what actually, ironically, what really, really helped me wasn't even a spiritual leader. It was Maya Angelou, because she said, if they had known better, they'd do better. They didn't know better. So it helps me, like, even if my roommate doesn't do the dishes or something so small, I'm not like, I just say in my head, if he knew better, he'd do better. He doesn't know better, and it just helps me kind of like, it helps me disconnect with love.
I think we're all doing our best at our own level of consciousness at the time. Sometimes it could be a pretty low level, but it's we're showing up, trying to bring our best. We're rarely just phoning in our existence.
Yeah.
And so I think it's beautiful. Maya Angelou, God bless, divine, amazing goddess. There's so many pearls have come out of her mouth.
Yeah.
She's touched so many millions of people. I think there's a beautiful line, also in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 48. Yogastha kuru karmani. Establish yourself in the present moment and then perform action. And so that allows you not to be always on the rebound or reactive mode or reflexive mode, not knee-jerk mode. Take a certain little breath. And there's a beautiful understanding. Your roommate doesn't do the dishes. Someone we love talks too loud or annoys you. We're all gonna die.
Yeah.
Everybody we love is going to die. You're going to die, I'm going to die, poor Peaches is going to die, we're all going to die. That should just make us love each other and hug each other and kiss each other. But it doesn't. So in moments where I find myself reacting like, could you turn that down? Or could you move your shoes? Or your dishes are in the sink? Or like any of those things, as I'm starting to feel that overwhelm, I'll say to myself, evidence of presence. Evidence of presence. Dr. David Simon, who is a dear friend of mine, used to see patients about their lives. He'd say, I only will meet with you 5 times. If you can't fix yourself after that, then it's not working. And so a patient came to him and said, I've been married for 40 years. My husband just revealed to me that he's been having an affair. He's been having an affair for 35 years with another man. And she was devastated. She was so touched at such a deep level. And she said, I don't know what to do. I trip over his shoes in the living room. He leaves his dishes in the sink. He hasn't screwed the cap on his toothpaste. I am so sick of him. And David Simon said, those are all evidence of his presence in your life. A week later, she called him up and she said, he revealed another secret to me. Several months ago, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. He's going fast.
Wow.
And you know what? He's going to die probably in the next 3 or 4 days. And he doesn't leave his shoes in the living room anymore because he doesn't walk around. He's been bedridden. They're neatly stacked next to his room. There's no dishes in the sink because he's eating food out of, baby food out of jars. And he hasn't brushed his teeth. I just sit by his side. You know, so
she misses those
she
things.
said all those evidences of presence that used to, and now I just want to hold him and love him.
Wow,
and so
that's powerful.
that can be like a powerful shift
Yeah.
for us when we're about to go, hey, shut up, or wash those dishes, or like, I love washing my roommate's dishes. They remind me of those sweet moments.
Yeah. I'll think about that next time.
Okay.
I'm scrubbing the spaghetti. So is it true that everything we experience, the good, the bad, the ups, the downs, all of that is self-derived? Did we manifest it into our own life?
I think that whole concept of good and bad is created by what we are in the moment. When people are sometimes diagnosed with cancer, they go, oh, wow, cancer's the guru.
Yeah.
You know, or cancer saved my life.
Yeah.
Things along those lines. So a lot of times what we think is, how could you say that about me? How could you fire me? How could you leave me? How could you do all those types of things to me? Realistically, those are opening the door for the next wave to come in. And what we self-impose on ourselves of what our life should be, or what that structure is supposed to be, is so small and constricted compared to the magnificence of the universe, who truly knows where things are supposed to
The
go.
divine order, yeah.
Right, so I think if we serve mankind, if we serve the universe's plan, then we get what we want.
So are we the universe then?
We are the universe. We're the physical manifestation and expression of infinity. You know,
Yeah.
that's it. And so that's why you need to bring your best game. You always need to bring your A game. Look who
Yeah.
you're representing here.
I guess I just want to ask you if somebody's coming to you and saying, Davidji, what's the one thing that'll just transform my life? Should I focus on my breath? Should I meditate? Should I do yoga? What would you say? What's the one technique anyone can do?
I work with the military. I work with a lot of very serious business corporations. I work with law enforcement, police, the Department of Justice, as well as people all over the world. And so, it's a question of languaging. So I developed this technique called 16 seconds to bliss. When I'm teaching yogis, I call it 16 seconds to Ananda. When I'm talking to regular people, I say, it's 16 seconds to bliss. You can shift yourself in 16 seconds. When I'm talking to cops, I call it 16 seconds to clarity. And when I'm talking to the military, I call it tactical breathing. And so in 16 seconds, we can shift ourselves. So we're all having dialogues going on in our awareness. We're all having conversations in our head. Sometimes we're disappointed or feeling less than or whatever. We need to introduce these pattern interrupts. And we can do it in 16 seconds. Let's do it together, okay?
Okay.
So all we have to really do is witness the breath. Close your eyes and witness the breath. So everyone can play along with us and do that. So envision something that's been irritating you. Maybe someone said they were going to do something they didn't, or someone was late, and envision their face. And now, through your nostrils, take a long, slow, deep breath in. Feel it go deep down into your belly. Feel it flow from your chest into your belly. Now hold it there. Hold that breath and witness it. Watch it. Observe it. And now slowly let that breath start to release out through your nostrils. And after it comes out of your nostrils, just witness it. Hold it out. Watch it. Observe it. And when it feels comfortable, you can breathe regularly and open your eyes. And in those 16 seconds, you weren't thinking about that person.
No.
You were fully present. You were in the present moment. And so really what I would say, we transform the world by transforming ourselves. Everyone can meditate anywhere, on a line, in the airport, in the middle of a conversation, in the middle of a meeting, while you're at your desk, while you're walking down the street. Anyone can do that 16 seconds to clarity or bliss or ananda or tactical breathing. And it doesn't have to be too woo-woo. It can be in the moment. And we were fully present there.
And not only was I present, but when I reopened my eyes and looked at you, I even saw you differently. I saw you a little more clear.
Yes.
In just 16 seconds.
Right. And I encourage people to come to my website, because I have hundreds of tools and tips free for, guided meditations and things like that, because it can make such a powerful difference for the person who's like, oh, my spouse won't do this, or there's a lot of tension in my household. There's so many ways that just so effortlessly we can shift ourselves.
So davidji.com?
Davidji.com. Davidji.com. Hi. Hi, I'm Davidji, and this is Peaches the Buddha Princess. She was found on the side of the 405 up in Los Angeles, and now she lives right here in Carlsbad, in the sweet spot of the universe. She gets to go to the beach every single day. She meditates with me every day. What's the lesson here? Adopt your next pet. We have a great opportunity to bring love and light and sweetness and compassion into our own lives by having a sentient being that we can love and nourish as well. So adopt your next pet, rescue your next pet. You always get the dog you need. Namaste.
How can you say no to this face?
Right.